row.
Yeah, a little bit surprised to hear Kerry Boosted and both Terry and Kerry tipping Gold Coast here tonight. I really think St George looked to have the stronger side.
Yes, it was. That's the start they need to settle a few nerves so the boys can get back there and consolidate. And
Jim Lenihan. Brown again. Slips the ball back for Pearson running the angle. Last tackle now for St George. Clinch goes to the air. It'll fall close to Marcus Bai. How good is he under the high ball? Not very good. They've come up with a try. Adrian Brunker has gone in for St George. They picked out Marcus Bai on the right wing side. The kick was pin perfect from Gavin Clinch. And you can see Bai under immense pressure there from the St George followers. It was Mark Coyne who first got to the ball, did all the damage, and it fell nicely in the end for Brunker.
You know, as we've seen so often, the advantage really is with the team coming forward, the attacking team. When the ball goes across field like that, you isolate the winger. One catcher, 2 or 3 chasers, and Mark Coyne able to get up above here, knock the ball backwards, and Adrian Brunker on hand to score the try. The important thing for the
Clark. Melvin Jeffs will move in and have something to say. He suggests that Jason Nicol walk away a few metres. He's already had a word this evening to Lance Thompson. You can see Thompson just sloppy in the tackle. Felch was there also, but it was Thompson with that left arm who accepts the pass under some pressure from Mark Bell. Patton decides to have a dart. This is Driscoll, and he's forced to take the tackle about 38 metres out centre field. Last tackle now for the Gold Coast. Patton kicks in behind the St George defence. Bai is flying down the right wing side, and Marcus Bai will score. So we've had defensive lapses at both ends of the park, and the Gold Coast are back in front.
Well, this is exactly as I said before, and Wes Patton, realising his first kick of the game, Jamie Ainscough let to roll a long way. Make sure this finds the ground, away from Ainscough. Not a regular fullback, can't pick up the rolling ball. An easy one there for Marcus Bai, who had a try running on him up the other end of the field, but gets one back for the Gold Coast Chargers. And again, the accuracy of Wes Patton, and good awareness by him to notice that Jamie Ainscough earlier in the game didn't particularly like the rolling football in the unfamiliar job back at fullback.
His positional plus with the rolling ball just not quite there, so Marcus Bai quickly atoned.
Not in good position, but a poor kick from Wes Patton found him, and I really think they're going to test this St George fullback out.
Nicol with a good front-on hit on Gavin Clinch, but we've got a touch judge in.
And when they run in like this, it's usually against the team in possession of the ball. They would play the advantage if it was against a Gold Coast player, allow St George to play out their set of 6. But here we see linesman Cooley has come on to report Mark Coyne over an incident in the play of the ball.
Some desperate St George defence. Patton, the long cutout ball, finds Graham Mackay, and he's brought down just a couple of metres out. Last tackle now for the Gold Coast. Patton chips through into the in-goal, beautifully picked up by Mark Bell. Can he get out? No, he can't. The chase was fantastic.
Yeah, good football from both sides there. Gold Coast backing their ability. They had a kick from a reasonable position in front of the post, decided on a set of 6, and the set of 6 has ended in the perfect way. A grubber kick into the end goal, beautifully picked up by Mark Bell, who evades one, but the rest of the chase is good. We have a Gold Coast player down injured here.
Tom O'Reilly is in some trouble.
And this would be a loss for them because Chris Orr has pulled out already, and Tom O'Reilly has come from the bench in the 5'8" position. And if he had to leave the field here, it'd be interesting to see the makeup of the Gold Coast side.
The sight of Tom O'Reilly leaving the field won't make anything any easier for the Gold Coast either. That's bad news, not just for the Coast, but also for O'Reilly, who, as we mentioned, is within a week due to play against Australia. Give up easily. This is Clark building up some speed, runs straight into Brown and put on his back. Russell has a run from dummy half, picks up another 10 metres. Sattler, who's been...
And George able to open up some space down this right-hand touchline towards Mark Bell. Graham Mackay and Russell do come in a little bit in defence, and St George are working on that and persevering down this right-hand touchline. We'll see a lot more of that during the game as the rain starts to come down a lot heavier here at Carrara.
It's getting very heavy at the moment. Stepping off the right foot goes Shane Russell, and Nathan Brown a little high perhaps.
Going to make it a very tough game of football.
A great inside ball for King. This is Mackay. He's got Russell outside him. Chooses not to use that option. And he's brought down just 5 metres out. Patton runs into some returning St George defence. Hurst with the long cutout ball. They're going backwards, the Gold Coast. Clark. He's got Nicol inside. Nicol looks for support but can't find any. Patton again. Shapes to kick through. They were coming from anywhere. There's a mistake. He's gone over. It's Marty Bella. That will be one of the most popular tries you have ever seen. Marty Bella has only been on the park a matter of moments. And that is only his 7th try in a first-grade career spanning 15 years. That is one for the mantelpiece.
Well, it's not a great strike rate, is it? 7 from 220 appearances. But you watch the big man when he stands up here. He'll have scored this try before he even realised he'd scored it. Gets up, puts it down, and the big fella will stand up and raise his hand in the air and say, well, how about that, Mum? I like that.
Oh, can you believe it? It was an awful mistake by Mark Coyne. It fell unkindly for him and then bounced off the post, and look at Marty Bella.
Gee, he's been a good player over a long period of time, Marty Bella, but there'll be a lot of highlights in his career, but it's always nice to score a try.
At any stage over the next few years, it'll be there in the video machine. Even Phil Economides can crack a smile. First great point, and look at this. This is a child in a man's body. Martin Bella celebrates. You'd think he'd just scored the winning goal in an FA Cup final. One of 5 former Gold Coast players involved in this game. I should say involved in this game for St George. It's batted back for Bell. Gets the ball inside. Clinch is kicked through and taken high. Graham Mackay it was. He'll be brought out and spoken to by Kelvin Jeffs. The kick was a good one. It was batted back and fell nicely in the end for Mark Bell. And this is where the trouble came. Mackay, he caught Gavin Clinch off balance. I think it looks worse than it actually was. And the end result is that no further action taken other than the awarding of a penalty to St George.
Yeah, we should.
You keep warm any way you can. It's a chilly evening tonight here at Carrara. The St George bench.
Pass really wasn't on, and with the ball a little bit slippery, that's got to be executed with precision.
It has stopped raining here at Carrara, but the ground's still a little greasy as Thompson is put in space. This is Hardy. He looks for support. He finds it in Bell. Bell steps inside, can't go past Russell. Touch judge in. Kelvin Jeffs goes over. Mark Bell had something to say.
Just watch this defence from Shane Russell. He really trusted his fullback there to get out towards Bell, put a lot of pressure on the player with the ball.
Ah, that was it. Graham Mackay with a kick.
Graham Mackay.
The touch judge saw it, and it was picked up quite easily on the replay. As you can see, Russell wrestles him to the ground. He's lashing out with the boot, and Mackay retaliated in a way that was unacceptable to the officials.
Well, can I say this? That was a lot of restraint for Graham Mackay, if you know Graham Mackay. To be kicked in the face, well, that's unfair.
He sent him off.
When I say unfair, they've missed the first kick from Bell.
I think Kelvin Jeffs will say that the retaliation was unwarranted. And I guess if we read the paper in the morning, he'll be right. But now the Gold Coast, who lead by 8 points, will be disadvantaged for the final 51 minutes of this match. This will test any side, let alone one only just finding its way in the top level of rugby league. They're in 5th place, and that goes on the line here tonight.
It's all happening here. We don't know where to look. You'll see the St George player gets a pass out the back. Now, Wes Patton's going to get this for all money, but he's pulled down by Stephen Price. And unluckily for Stephen Price, referee Jess was right on the spot. This will be a penalty to the Gold Coast. Jeff Hardy, the St George 5'8", has left the field with what looks to be a knee or ankle injury. We've got Graham Mackay sent off for the Gold Coast Chargers. They're in a huddle discussing how they're going to get through the next 50 minutes of the game with only 12 men and without their captain. And all of a sudden, I think we're going to see a lot of spirit in these young players themselves, who are always playing for, well, for recognition. And tonight, to win with 12 men against this St George side would be a great feather in their cap if they can pull it off. But here's Bellies away.
He's only got King to beat. Steps inside. King, great tackle. They're rushing back on defence now, the Gold Coast, but they're on the back foot on the last. Long, is it too long? Ainscough in good position again. Has no support, decides to go straight ahead and straight into the tackle of Marcus Bai. He's had one defensive lapse so far this evening, Marcus Bai. It cost his team a try, but then since then he's hardly put a foot wrong and he's scored a try. Pearson, Thompson, they've got numbers out on the right-hand side. Coyne stepping back inside, frees the ball up. Mark Bell is hit in a very strong tackle. Andrew King. Oh, that's a bone rattler.
Yeah, great awareness. Look, we're all going to applaud his hit here, the way he's knocked this fella out over the sideline, but also applaud his anticipation. The fact that Graham Mackay, his left centre, has been sent from the field. He knows they're going to be short on the left-hand side of the field. He knows St George are going to go there straight away, as they did, and made a lot of ground to be across there in cover defence. Great hit, but even better anticipation for his team.
So much of this game is instinct, and Andrew King showing that his are pretty much all right. This is Shane Russell. He's upended, and there may be more to be said about this tackle of Mark Coyne's.
It was a little bit more in slow motion than your normal lifting tackle, wasn't it? Sort of just rolled it over the top. He had him in bad position. Coyne's got him, and it's, oh gee, it's not good when you look at it at that speed, is it?
At no stage did he pull out of the tackle, which is, I think, the one thing which will count against him, perhaps. I think what we'll have here is probably just a penalty and get on with the game. But
well, he's called the linesman in. That would indicate a report, and he's also called across the Gold Coast captain. So I would say that Mark Coyne will be on report. He's taking his number now, number 3. Why he needs to take his number, I mean, everyone knows Mark Coyne's face.
If he doesn't know who he is by now. Or...
Yes, it is a good start, and I've got a bit of a news from the half-time break as well, that Gold Coast are considering actually citing Mark Bell for that kicking incident as well.
Well, I'm sure it would act as part of the defence. Here's a bad penalty here. Number 15 for the St George side.
Brad Smith.
Brad Smith in no position there at marker, alongside to play the ball.
It didn't look good. Dave Clark, it was, on the receiving end. Fast out of dummy half goes Wes Patton. Last tackle now for the Gold Coast. He plays it quickly. They work it out to the left-hand side. They've got numbers. They've gone in. That's the try. John McCallaghan. They lack for nothing, if not courage. They're down to 12 men. They were on the last. Their chief playmaker was at the play the ball, and they have muscled their way over for a glorious try.
Yeah, well, it's something they should have expected, the run on tackle 5, because Wes Patton, as you said, was playing the ball. There was going to be no kick, and he does terrifically well to avoid going into touch. Brendan Hurst's awareness of St George were flat and short on the left-hand side of the field. Mark Bell remained on his try line, didn't come off the line, and unable to stop the strength of John McCallaghan, who had fresh legs coming off the bench. And the Gold Coast, a valuable start. They scored with 5 seconds to go in the first half, and within 5 minutes of the start of the second half, have added extra points, and now it's a real battle for the St George side.
Hardy Bella, he walks from one end of the bench to the other. That's his way of keeping warm. Line. Nahi How much work has he been putting in this evening?
You know, the St George players are really condensing up in defence because they know this side's going to run it one out, but they're just knocking them over, the Gold Coast. They're running the ball so hard.
Patton kicking on the last. There was no one home. Ainscough taking his time getting back. The chase is good. He beats Patton. He can't beat the rest of them. Superb Gold Coast defence. They'll get 6 more.
Yeah, well, whatever this Gold Coast side are on and whatever they play on, Phil Economides could make a fortune if he could bottle it, because in every aspect of the game, their enthusiasm is tremendous. They compete on everything. Every kick chase, every play of the ball, every tackle.
It took 4 St George players to hold him up. This is Shane Russell. And suddenly they're less than 10 metres from the line again. Patton. How dangerous is he? He kicks in behind. They'll score again! John McKellar.
Offside. Offside. There's been some big calls in this game already. Wes Patton. No way.
That was a try.
No way was he offside. Now we've got to come back to who called that, linesman or referee, but that is a particularly rough call on the Gold Coast. This is a rehearsed move, so they know where they have to be. He goes to the 10-metre line. No way.
That is a great try. Disallowed. McKellar had timed his run to perfection, you would think. You're right. And then to be punished because he looked too good. He just looked like he was too fast out of the blocks as Thompson brushes off a couple. Last tackle now for St George. He'll play it on the 40.
And be careful here, the Gold Coast.
They don't want the emotion of the moment to get to them. That was tackled. There's a turnover. 35 out. Big Marty Bella brushes off one, taken over the top by Stephen Price. Look for Patton. He kicks back onto the right-hand touchline. It's bounced kindly for Ainscough, though, who brings in Brunker, who wasn't expecting it. And that's a disastrous result for St George. Jamie Ainscough put his wing under pressure when he had no need to. And the wonderful follow-up support by Jason Nichol will give the Gold Coast 6 more tackles.
Yeah, pressure's a marvellous thing. Jamie Ainscough is a great footballer, and a tremendous left centre, but in an unfamiliar body there from the Gold Coast. A bad pass in the slippery conditions. They forced their way back. Kicker was caught at dummy half. Here's Jamie Ainscough across the field again.
Thompson taken over the top. They've got support. They didn't need to pass. They had 6 tackles and the momentum, but Dave Clark couldn't help himself. He saw Marcus Bai on his right-hand side.
Oh, fellas, cool heads. Dave Clark over the top. Well, that's what they've built their season on, backing their ability. It'll go for you and it'll go against you, but they take that on board.
Kenwood. Brown, the short ball, finds Colin Ward. Ward steps out. He's got support on the right and the left-hand side. He looks inside for Clinch. Clinch with the smuggled ball. They'll get it back. And in the end, it'll be Darren Ramaker. It went through about 7 sets of hands. And Darren Ramaker, it was, in the end, on hand to score the try.
Yeah, well, this will be disappointing for Phil Economides. A very real chance at one end of the field on first tackle, throwing the ball away, and within 2 tackles, some tired defence. Brought about by the frantic pace that Gold Coast are playing this game. Nathan Brown, some nice little lines up the middle of the field. Colin Ward, always available. Realised the player was marked on the left, goes to Clinch. Able to flick it out the back, and Mark Coyne very calmly gives it to Darren Ramaker, who puts it down nonchalantly and nearly had it stripped from behind. I don't think he knew there was another defender there.
I'm not sure that David Waite, even though he would have enjoyed the fact that they got another 4 points, wonderful back pass there by Gavin Clinch. I'm not sure he would have enjoyed the way that Darren Ramaker put that ball down. Stephen Price, to break his duck this evening, does so. And the Gold Coast's lead is now cut to 8. 18 points to 10, they lead.
About the last 10 minutes. All in front of the referee again.
Driscoll turns out of one, finds Hurst in support. Hurst tries to free the arms. Ramaker tries to upend him. Can't do so. It's the last tackle. He'll play it on the 20. The kick wasn't necessarily a good one, but it finds the right man. And the Gold Coast are in the corner. Shane Russell. It couldn't be said that Wes Patton's kick was necessarily pin perfect. But I tell you what, he's not going to argue with the result. I think he was looking for more of a bomb to get it in behind the defensive line. But it's set up perfectly for Shane Russell. Came off the side of his boot. Russell steps inside Mark Bell. And hello, we're in again.
Well, that's just rewards. They were denied what we believed to be a fair try off a kick earlier in the game. And a very important conversion attempt coming up for
David Waite with a one-word instruction. Phil Gould is sitting next to me with a smirk on his face. And Zapperman. Last tackle now for St George. This is Clinch from just inside his own half. He was taken late. And there's a touch judge in.
Yeah, touch judge is screaming to the referee. He's in field, he hasn't raised the flag. The referee can't hear him down the earpiece. Now he stops the play.
The charge was late from Marty Bella. I beg your pardon, from Des Clark, but I'm not necessarily convinced that there's a lot of malice involved.
Well, I think he's played for this well, Clinch.
Well, he's got the result and he'll get a penalty. So Clinch taking his time. Des Clark will have a warning. You can see the touchy saying, I told you on my flag. And Brendan Hurst is over there as well. To where the ball landed, and St George have got a penalty.
And that's a big penalty too.
Colin Ward. Brought down by O'Reilly and McKelleher. Clinch. This is Felsh. Good field position for St George. They can go left or right. Brown takes it out to the left-hand side. Fast hands and they'll score. Jim Lenihan.
Yeah, that was a soft try. I really think the penalty...
Daniel Wagon it was, I beg your pardon.
I really think the penalty St George played on Gold Coast mine. They really didn't come up in defence, and Wes Patton caught out badly.
That's where St George will always have the advantage. If they can split the defence and use fast hands and use the extra man. And as Phil Gould mentioned, Wes Patton just slipping off the tackle. Wagon stepped inside and Patton beaten. And suddenly we're back. Brown. Through the long ball instead to Ramaker. He throws another long ball. This is Lenihan. He's got some support there from Brunker. But the tackle was good and effective.
Yeah, they've just dragged themselves off the ground all night, the Gold Coast. They keep screaming work in defence. St George have stretched them. A long ball from Ramaker. Lenihan on the outside. And there, Jason Nicol and Nahai make up great ground on the inside. Everyone has stretched themselves. You know, and it's really hurting at this stage of the game. You're tired.
Chris Nahi is going to be called out by referee Calvin Jeffs. Is he? No, the trainer's been sent off. Calvin Jeffs having a word with the Gold Coast trainer. He goes...
Did he tackle someone or do
with
something?
Good grace. Bella takes on the St George defence, picks up 10 metres. Listen to the crowd. Sattler, what a wonderful catch. Great recovery. You can see Marty Bella making a gesture there at the St George defence. What he thinks about the size of a certain organ in their chest. Felsh. Marty Bella won't give him anywhere to go. You can almost sets the crowd, counting down. Last tackle, they're going to run it. Wagon back inside. He finds Clinch, but the pass was forward.
That's good. Look at the Gold Coast players now. They've only got 20 seconds, but when this siren goes, there is no more rewarding thing in a footballer's life than to go through a win like this with your teammates and blokes you've battled hard with. They're going to win this game when this full-time siren goes, this club. And they're getting a following up here. Listen to the crowd as they jam it forward one by one. 5 seconds.
They're counting it down at Carrara. They won't have a time to play. And how appropriate that Jason Nichol have his hands on the ball last. He was one of the Gold Coast's best this evening. 22 points to 14. They beat St George. They did so for 52 minutes with just 12 men.
Now, a few months ago, there wouldn't have been many people in that stand, but they've earned the respect of the people here at the Gold Coast, and they've earned the respect of the people in the rugby league competition. And now the stands are full. And the Chargers quite deservedly go across to take their accolades and applaud the crowd for helping them through a pretty tough time. You can't blame them for wanting to do half a victory lap. Long way to go in the season. But you...
A wonderful moment for the Gold Coast.
There's a little bit of Pat Cash about this.
On the sideline at the moment, Kerry Bowstead is down with the St George captain, Mark Coyne.
Yes, Mark. Well, you'd have to be a little bit disappointed with tonight's performance.
Yeah, very disappointed. You know, it was really a grand final for us, and you know, I didn't really aim up though. You know, I thought we got pretty hard done by a few decisions tonight. The penalty count was pretty enormous, I think, their way.
Obviously, you knew they were going to be tough here. Did they come out firing as much as you had anticipated?
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, and as I said, you know, they were always going to be hard up here, but you know, they got a good run with the penalty count tonight, and you know, it's very hard when you always seem to be getting penalised.
Yeah, even though St George are currently in 10th position, they're only about 3 or 4 points behind the fifth placeholder. Why do you see yourselves being, you know, unable to catch them at this stage?
You know, we're certainly not cutting our wrists yet, but you know, we realised tonight was a big game for us. We didn't aim up, and you know, we really need to just go back and try and improve week to week. And you know, the final 7 is a long way away for us, and we really shouldn't even worry about that yet.
Well, good luck from here.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Thanks, mate.
Back up to Eric. Thank you.
Thanks, Kerry. As you can see, Marty Bella accepting the congratulations of the crowd. Oh, this is a victory lap he won't want to end.
Yeah, it is, and as you say, they've got an important game next week against North Sydney. And it's one thing to win a great game like this, but there's a long way to go. Oh, where's he Patton doing backflips?
You'd think that Martin Bella had just won the presidential election. 22 points to 14 was the final. He has one of the men of the moment, big Martin Bella.
Well, yeah, we've got Martin Bella here, the warhorse of Queensland Rugby League. Marty, you've turned into a try-scoring machine. How was that performance?
Well, it was a great game for the boys. Like, when you lose a player as early as we did, you know, you start to worry a little bit. But, you know, I think really that game was always well and truly controlled by us. So, you know, the side's matured well, and a side that can control a game for that period of time is going to win it. There's no getting around that.
Yeah, well, the crowd certainly got behind you again. I think that the crowd knew that you had the heart to go out there and finish it off, and you certainly did that.
Well, we've been trying to get like bigger crowds all year, and the weather's been against us. And this is probably one of the best and most vocal crowds we've had. Probably the most pleasing aspect was how quiet that end of the grandstand got after a while. You know, the St George fans, they were very quiet. They didn't have a lot to say.
One secret before you go, how do you guys always just come out and fire up and score that early try after each gap, each break in the game?
Just sick to death of the crap that everyone's been giving us the last couple of years.
Great, thanks Marty.
Thank you.